What's going on, guys? We're hopping into the Palia Discord for June 1st, 2023, and we're going over these questions and answers that they have. It's not a lot of them this time, so we're just going to go ahead and jump into these. The first one is, how are the creatures named? So, Ember's Ashes narrative lead says, ooh, great question. Chappa is a Lakota beaver spirit, and Cernuks are named for Cernonos. Cernonos? A Celtic god associated with deer. Vega, the narrative designer, says when it comes to creature names, we typically take mythical creatures of legend and paleify them. When we think about naming them, we approach our thinking with a combination of sounds that evoke onomatopoeia, a fun word to say, but not a fun word to spell. That's kind of crazy. It makes you think of because they're in all the songs. So when you hear the squeaky sounds, you immediately think of the squeaking of springs. You know. Anyway, overall, the name is about a vibe that we then apply Palia naming conventions and spelling to. Oh, and then the tried and true method, we put all the names into a Wiktionary afterwards to make sure we didn't make a name that doesn't translate culturally or had a meaning we didn't intend, which is a good thing to do because you don't want people to go, hey, plunk. You don't want to use plunk because that means some kind of negative slur in some other language. And if it is, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. I think I just made that up. Just a word sound. We've had these Kitsu emojis in Discord since launch. Do you have more information about them? Vega says Kitsu aren't currently in Palia yet. They are a very rare creature that are associated with both ancient human and ancient Majiri legends, and they've been around for a long time. They are understood to be very real, but sighting them is kind of a big deal. They are particularly associated with the element of fire. And that's these right here. I don't know if you can see the creature is like a fox creature with the big ears. It's kind of making a heart. It reminds me of like a Digimon. I don't know which one off the top of my head, but it reminds me of one. How are resources going to be managed? Like, is it going to be where they go away until they respawn, or will it basically be infinite where anyone can come up to an ore or something and mine it? So, Bourbon, the senior designer, says providing players with an immersive multiplayer world is a pillar for Palia, and shared spawns are a part of that. That means if a choppa, a bug, or a mining node exists for one player, it exists for all players, and when it's gone for all players. This could lead to competition over resources that is uncozy, and to counter that, Palia is very generous with shared credit. Every player that participates at all in gathering a resource, such as doing any amount of damage to a mining node, gets full credit for XP, loot, quest completion, etc. When it comes to hunting creatures and bugs, we go even further. You don't even have to hit your target as long as your shot is close enough. The game recognizes that you are trying to participate and credits you fully. That's a pretty cozy. So a lot of people are kind of worried or always asking for like PvP or fighting stuff in games like this. And this whole game is about being a community driven experience, a nice shared, fun, friendly, chill world to relax in and not really have to worry about doing anything but having a fun time playing with other people, learning about the world, and learning about the characters that we meet in Palia, the Palians, the Majiri. So having these this having not to stress about, oh, I can't find any ore and I need to find so many ore. I got to go out here and get this ore before somebody get it, or I need to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning because nobody's on so I can get ore and hunt bugs is a pretty cool thing to be able to not have to worry about. So that's a good thing, I think. Number four is, with climate change and wildfire protection being such big topics in the real world, will the game feature such elements as well? Vega says yes, there are actually quests in game during the main storyline that walk you through how Palians think about the natural world around them. Palians, as a rule, are more conservationally minded and practice very sustainable techniques when it comes to hunting, forestry, industry, etc. Everything is done with a thought for how it will affect the world in the long term. There are also mechanics in the game itself that support this. You can plant new trees from old ones you've chopped down, for example, and every action you undertake in the game is understood to be part of a larger ecosystem. That's pretty cool. How restrictive will naming be? The question is just for me, says Firebird, game systems designer. We're trying to balance being as open as possible to legitimate real world names, limiting the leet speak and usernamey names you mentioned, while also preventing impersonation and trolling. So I guess there's more questions into there with weird names. Some steps we've taken are there are limits on which special characters can be used, how many, and where. This will make it harder to abuse them, but we cannot completely prevent it without also blocking a lot of legitimate names. Players will create two names during character creation, a unique full name and a non-unique nickname. The full name will be what's primarily seen by other players in UI, chat, and above their head in game, so bad actors can't impersonate other players. Nicknames can be seen in NPC dialogue or when you hover over other players in UI. Multiple players can use the same nickname so that if there are many James, you can all use that nickname to immerse yourselves more deeply in the world of Palia when interacting with NPCs. Number three, only letters affect uniqueness to minimize the usernamey tendencies, like tacking a number onto the end. Example, if someone already has the full name James86 will count as the same full name, so it can't be used. This also helps prevent some impersonation, as it's harder to create a full name that looks almost identical to another. And that, Gentle Pelians, concludes this round of Ask the Team Mega Edition. About the naming convention, I think I'm having a hard time being called the MMO Ronin, because I would like to jump in to a lot of games, and it's kind of like a game naming thing, but I would like to be able to play as that so people could recognize me in game if they watch these videos and maybe hang out or speak or something like that. Because there's a space in between MMO and Ronin, and so it puts MO from the last MMO part and the RON in Ronin, and it's really difficult. Like my name, if my last name was legit like Maroni or something like that, then I wouldn't be able to put it because of that block in that name. And that kind of sucks. But with that said, that ends the end of this Q&A. I'm really hopefully we get some new news coming up in the Summer's Game Fest about what's going on with Palia. It'd be kind of cool to start jumping into the world and running around in it with everybody and showing it off. So hopefully soon we'll get some more news about open betas and dates and stuff like that. But until then, guys, thanks for watching these videos. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.